Good morning, everybody. It's more of the JavaScript party. It is Thursday, so no ret today, and I actually only have like a couple minutes to make a video today. And I was what's the big deal? I'll just miss a day. It's no biggie. But it is kind of important to just kind of keep the ball rolling a little bit. I think I was sort of slow to start because I just know, I just feel like I'm in a weird like I'm in an area where I really need to tread carefully, and that is like how you see and get data in complex situations in Angular and stuff like that. And it seems like the default, and it has always been my default, and I'm not being critical or anything here. I'm just like, I don't know, thinking out loud. Um, the default has always been like, just inject the service into your application, and then once you've injected the service, you're good. But that just is not. It's more complicated than that, and I did not realize that. And I've been working in Angular for over a decade now, especially if you include Angular JS. And I know that like when you first start with Angular, you'll hear a lot about dependency injection, especially in Angular JS. Like that was like literally almost everything I would say 9 out of 10 tutorials would at some point um, introduce the concept of dependency injection, and that is exactly what you're doing when you do this. When you say, where are you? When you say this, inject, blah, 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 you're saying this is a dependency. Like I never really thought about it in those terms. Like this application is dependent on this service. ST service is dependent on the recyclable sequence service. It's dependent on the scene service. It's dependent on the mesh service and its ST mesh service and on the three mesh service. So that that is what you're saying. But when I wrote that code, that is not what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, I need an instance of the three mesh service so that I can do what I need to do. That is exactly what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, hey, I'm going to create a dependency to this. And that has totally changed the way I see everything. So it's a kind of a double whammy because, first of all, it just doesn't feel like that is how the tribe wants to go, right? The tribe does not seem to want to go um, in in here. It doesn't seem to want to go in this direction. The tribe seems to want to go in the direction of just inject everything. I think that's where it kind of seems like the tribe wants to go there. And I guess I don't know. I just feels comfortable. So I don't know if this is just sort of like one of those things where like with time we have managed to just sort of go down into this path and no one really thought about it, or if this is sort of like once you start going down this path of injecting things, but they're not as dependencies, if other things start to go sideways as you start to um, advance. But anyways, that's where I'm at right now, and I don't want to be like a lone wolf doing my own thing. Um, so that's going to be a boolean. But I do want to have applications that don't just sort of fucking disintegrate as they grow in size. So this is a number, and this is a number, and then we're just going to return true. True. So basically, the mesh for scene ID is got to make sure that this mesh isn't being used in any other places. Which, like, where does that intelligence of who do you check in with before you delete? Like, that's what we're like. Who do you check in? Who needs to be checked in with? before a delete. Right? So that, and it's pretty straightforward because I think meshes can only go in scenes right now, but animations can go. The idea is the animations would be able to go anywhere. So the same animation might be used in a scene and all that. So when we go to delete an animation, all this knowledge of where where that animation might be used needs to be somewhere, and the only place that I could think of that would be an easy place to sort of debug through would be in the animation itself, in the delete animation functionality. But anyways, so that is that. We will continue with this tomorrow. Happy coding, everybody. Let's just make sure it should redraw now, I think. Yeah. So anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.